Hello, and welcome to my channel. This is Elise here of Plan with Elise, and this is one of my favorite videos of the year. I do a lot of videos. I do pretty much 365 videos plus per year, and this is one of my favorites. So let's talk first for a second about what a word of the year is. A word of the year is a word that you choose that is kind of your guiding point, your North Star throughout the year. A really great example that I like to give is in 2020. My word of the year was release. And when I set up the word release, my thought process was, I wanted to release um, expectations that I put on myself and stressors and things that were just no longer serving me in a good way. And it ended up really being the year of release because I left my apartment that I was living in. I left the relationship that I was in. I had some friendships that ended. There was a lot of release happening in 2020. And then in 2021, my word of the year was flourish. It was the year to rebuild my life, and it really happened. And then I did balance in, I think it was 2022 or 2023. I did balance, I think it was 2023, balance, which was really trying to figure out including more balance in my life. My word of this year, if you've watched any of my videos, you probably know because I've made it a very strong part of my vocabulary, is intentional. Being intentional with my time, with my money, with the things I buy in my home. In January, I was intentional with finding a relationship, or not finding a relationship, but being intentional about dating. That has now resulted into me finding the love of my life. So, really trying to focus on the word intentional. 2025 is coming, and I think it was in October. I was reading a book, and it was just a fiction book. It wasn't any kind of like, self improvement book. But I came across this word that I would never really consider as a word of the year, but it stuck into my head, and I haven't been able to get it out. And I feel like when it comes to the word of the year, when you know, you know. And I over the last couple of months, I've been thinking about if it's a word that I think would apply to different areas of my life. And I knew the theme that I wanted to go for. The theme of the word that I was looking for was putting focus into things, putting more energy into things. There's a lot of dreams that I have and things that I'm striving for next year, but I couldn't find any of the words that I liked. A really funny story is when I was telling a friend about the theme I was going for, she was like, "What about engage? You're going to be engaging in all of these different things." And I was like, if I'm in a relationship and I do my word of the year as engage, everyone will think that I'm trying to manifest an engagement. So we're not doing engaged. So my word of the year is, drum roll please, pursuit. I love the word pursuit. I even love the way that it sounds when I say it. And my mom, who has an Etsy shop, made me this beautiful word of the year frame. She has made me these frames ever since 2021. She has options in her shop. I'm going to link it below, where you could do a white frame or a black frame. You can choose a word up to, I guess, 9 letters in this size frame. This is a 5x7. Or you could do, I'm just going to pull this off my shelf, a larger word on an 8x10 frame like I had this year for intentional. She has a ton of preset words in addition to words for friends and family like niece, love, teacher, mom, grandma, brother, special words like that. So this is the really, really good gift if you're looking to gift this to something like this, a custom one to a loved one this season, or if you have chosen your word of the year and you want it front and center every day, like I have on my bookshelf, I highly recommend my mom's shop. So it's called the Lemon Tree Boutique over on Etsy, and I will have it linked in the description of this video. So we are going to make a page in my planner for my word. So I have Alpha Basics by Kell of a Plan here, and I'm going to get these kind of bigger letters, and we're going to put them on my ruler. Just very lightly, just the teeniest bottom part. of this letter on the ruler. P-U-R. S. Another U. This is one of the easiest but most effective pages to make in your planner as you're setting up your 2025 planner because, well, you'll see that it's easy, but it's effective because it gives you kind of like a roadmap and an idea of what you want your year to look like when you center it around a word. So we're going to put pursuit. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit higher than the middle because I want to write down the definition. In the past, I've printed off the definition from the computer, but I think that I just want to write it. Okay. What pen do I want to use to write it though? That is the question. I think I'm going to go thin with a Unipen fine line. This is a 0.1, but we're going to go ahead and write this here. And I'm going to use the same definition that my mom used. What's really great about the way that she runs her shop is once you have your word chosen, she'll give you an example definition. And I say example because there's so many different definitions out there. And then you can decide whether or not that definition works for you or if you need a little bit of a change made so that the word or the definition is more geared towards your life. So I'm just gonna try to write my neatest. I keep wanting to go faster, but no, this is something to slow down for. I'm so excited about this word. If you are stuck on a word, I would Google like a word of the year ideas. And there's so many websites that have like 100 word of the year ideas for you. I think there's even like quizzes out there. If you Google word of the year quiz, you should be able to find something. I have in the past tried a word of the month. I remember last year there were a couple of comments on my channel about that, and I don't recommend it. If you don't want to set up one word of the year, my recommendation is to do word of the quarter. I was just having this conversation with someone that setting things up for the year sometimes can be overwhelming because you just don't know what the year is going to look like. And if that's too much for you, doing the quarter is really important because things change so much on a monthly basis. Like September is a really good example of this for me. Mid-September, I got COVID and I was sick for a while. And anything that I had set to accomplish in September pretty much didn't happen because of that. So if you were to set up monthly goals or a monthly word and something like that happens, hopefully it doesn't, but you know, there's just so many things that could change. So if you do that, then you're kind of setting yourself back because it's like, well, do I just scrap that or do I shift to the next month or what is it? Giving yourself a quarter, setting up a word of the quarter or a goal system for a quarter is great because you have 3 months to work on that. So if 1 month is really, really busy, you've given yourself 3 months. When I was talking about my Q4 goals, I talked a lot about October being the month to go. Get as much as I can done in October because I knew how busy November and December would be. So if you're thinking about word of the month, I would recommend trying to shift to word of the quarter and see if you can do that if you don't want to do a full-blown word of the year. Now, if you've seen my word of the year videos before, I tend to decorate these in a similar way. And one of the reasons is because I just really like how they come out. But the other one is because, oh, I'm not going to have enough room here, am I? Wait, let me explain why I like to decorate these in a similar way. So again, one is because I like the way that they come out, but the other reason is because I feel like when they're decorated in a similar way from year to year, I look at it and I immediately know that that's my word of the year. That's where my focus is going to be for the year. And I feel like it just really helps me. I think that these may be too big here, but I also want to make sure I'm giving myself enough room for what I'm looking for. I don't think that these are going to be big enough. Because if I use this, let's try something here. I could always lift up the sticker if I needed to. This one just got quite wrinkly, but it's okay. It's just a planner page. I think that a lot of times we get really stuck, especially when we're setting up a planner for a new year, because we want it to be perfect and no mistakes and all of that, but life is not perfect. So neither is my planner. Okay. I think that that works here, but because I went higher up with this, I kind of run out of that space. So I need to like figure out the best way to do this. I think that just having some of these go off a little bit is what's going to make more sense. This is going to be centered right here. You also don't have to use stickers. You can just write things down. And then we'll do one more over here. Okay. Grab my scissors and trim. This is my first page for 2025 in my planner. I'm really excited about it. Now, I like adding just something a little bit soft. So I have these beautifully lined stickers from Live Love Posh. I think that these are really pretty. And we're going to incorporate them throughout this page. Once I can get them. Oops. Once I can get this off the page. Okay. So with these stickers, if you're going to layer them the way that I am, which is when you put the shape down first or the box down first, and then you put these down, the best thing to do is this, like I'm doing, getting rid of some of the stickiness, or you can put them on wax paper first. You could also layer them. You could also put these down and then the shapes, but I didn't think that far ahead. And then just use a knife. Pop this. The reason that I removed some of the stickiness is because I didn't want this to pull off any of the black from the sticker border. But then I also was careful to not press it down too hard. Okay, that's pretty. And then we can take a smaller one over here. I may not even need to really trim or remove the sticky. If I just press down in the middle, just use my knife. Come on. It's a little bit of a time-consuming, somewhat delicate process, but it's not difficult to do. But I want to kind of have some more throughout here. So I like this bigger one, but we're going to have to do some figuring out right there. So another way to do this is to kind of start to put it down. This is probably like the messiest way, but it's also, you don't have to deal with any of the other ways that I shared. So just kind of being careful and not quite putting anything down until you've trimmed. It's easier with clear stickers than it is with any other because you can see the sticker. You can see the border. That looks pretty. And then I think maybe we just do a little bit over here. I don't think that every single section needs it. So let's do this one. It's a little bit bigger than I wanted, but I think it's just gonna work the best. So with this one, I'm going to actually just put it on my arm because it's faster than my hand and really remove the stickiness because I'm gonna have to cut off a lot of this. All right. Like that. And I want to press this part down pretty hard so that as I'm cutting, I'm not moving the sticker. I think I was cutting through there a bit. Then you just go piece by piece. We're gonna go here. I need to lift this up a little bit. I'm also not worried about that wrinkle that happened because we are going to be writing over it. There we go. Okay. And put here. And we're just gonna punch 2 holes. This is my We Are Memory Keepers disc punch. Okay, this looks pretty. The one thing I want to do is right here. It's bugging me that it's over that black part of the T because I feel like it removes some of the boldness when the sticker's over it. Perfect. All right, now we are ready to start writing in this. So I have 6 hexagons here and I'm going to go into 6 life categories. So I have my Moxie Life planner out and my Moxie Life has 8 categories. We are going to not do personal because it's always a category I struggle with, like what to write in there. And we're also not going to do spiritual and personal growth. We're going to focus on these 6 categories. So I think that first is going to be financial. So when I look at the word pursuit, what am I trying to pursue financially in 2025? The pursuit of, I feel like it always has to be of, right? Pursuit of, I don't think we're going to do of. Now, just because I'm writing something down here doesn't mean that it already doesn't happen. So financial growth and progress on my spending habits. Okay, I like that. Fun and recreation, the pursuit of more time and energy to enjoy social activities. I have the time. I always make the time. The energy is where the problem comes in because I work myself so much. Oops. Activities. We have to fix that. I put so much on my plate and I overbook myself and I run out of energy a lot. And I just always want to go to bed. And that's not the life that I want to live. I think that for a long time that wasn't really happening because my social calendar was different, but it was also like I can make time for anything. I can go to every, game of my niece and nephew and I can do this and I can do that because I'm just going to work all morning. And it started to get harder this year when nights were going later. So we're gonna let that dry for a bit before we add in. So we have fun and recreation in, we have financial in. We're going to talk about health and wellness. So the pursuit of a healthy lifestyle and a regular fitness routine. Okay, now we have wellness. So we still need physical environment, work and learning, and family and relationships. So physical environment is going to be an organized, this is my pursuit of, remember, and beautiful home for myself and to share with James. I briefly mentioned this in another video, but James will be moving in with me in March. So it's going to be our home together. And I love my home already, and I'm really excited to share it with him. Okay, are we dry here? Activities. I used the white pen to cover up the misspelling instead of correction tape because I just thought that it would be a little bit cleaner, and it seems to look pretty clean. Okay, work and learning, we're gonna put right over here, and growth of my business with new, what's the word that I'm looking for? Struggling to come up with a word here. Part of me wants to say new direction and opportunities. We're not going in like a new direction. That's not really changing, but um with new, probably like with trying new things, with new ideas, and I want to do challenges, but not challenges in a negative way, challenges in a positive way, like stepping up to the challenge with new ideas. And I'm going to write opportunities because opportunities are going to be opportunities that I find myself, that I make, that I create. Okay. Now, relationship, family and relationships. So it's not that I don't want to include my family on here, but I think that I just want to focus here on the relationship aspect. So, how do I want to pursue an effort to secure or attain quest, the act of trying to achieve a plan, activity, or situation? So, the pursuit of continued, whoops, why can't I spell today? Continued love and growth in our relationship. And building, we're gonna go a little small here. I should have gone higher up. Our future. Okay. Is this dry? That's not quite dry yet. While that dries, one thing that's been bothering me is this little spot here. I feel like we should have had a little bit more floral going on there. So we're just going to do a little bit of layering with an extra piece that I had just to kind of clean this up a little bit. Ah. All right, can we fix this now? Continue. Oh, it wasn't quite dry enough yet. Okay, I'm gonna have to, there we go. Continue. It's not perfect, but it's good and it works for me. I was thinking about adding in some floral here and here, but I also just feel like it's kind of nice having a little bit of an open part here. I might change my mind by the time this video goes live. So when you see this photo on Instagram, it might have extra floral. I'm undecided. So that is my 2025 word of the year. Don't forget to pick up a word of the year frame from my mom's Etsy shop, whether for yourself as a loved one. I will tell you, having this on my bookshelf next to my desk and being able to see it all year, well, really intentional, because that's the one I've had, is a huge part in the success of a word of the year for me. It doesn't even have to be in your office. If you don't have one, it can be on your dresser or in your living room or anything that works for you. So her shop will be linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you know your word of the year, let me know in the comments. I appreciate your support. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, help me reach my goal of 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2024 and go ahead and click that subscribe button. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.